she talks about white rice and honey. That's the ghetto story.
That's the ghetto
This isn't
story.
this is the ghetto story. Listen. Welcome everybody. I don't honestly, wow. I don't know what to say. This has been a day. Like from the time we came in, it's just been muckery. But you know what I'm happy about? That we have a special guest. But before I introduce her, oh my goodness.
Special guest.
Oh my goodness. Before I introduce,
very special.
oh my gosh. Before I do this, I'm so crushing. I have to
Right.
welcome my co-host, the Don. Let me see that shirt. Look, let me see how wicked your shirt is, Rankin.
Just lean back a little bit.
Naya Bingy, and on the
Maybe.
back it's black and white. It's a serious shirt
For real,
today.
man. You know, like the Trinity. You know, when you're looking at Rastafari, right? Someone would consider this to be a Trinity.
All right, well,
I
Yeah.
like.
and in the middle, do you want to do the introduction? I have adjectives, but
You see, I can't. Since the relationships, you know, you guys have a longer relationship.
we
by
really
means-
don't. I just met her, but it's just
But-
sister
but-
vibes,
but
like past spirits.
Yeah.
Person.
Person,
Yes,
yes.
yes. Yes.
Yeah, so I don't think my adjectives would do justice. And besides, you're the wordsmith, right?
Okay.
You know, I fail at certain things and you just excel. So by
All
means you make
right,
one
so
person
let me
afterwards.
pull out some words.
Go ahead.
The
Let me
omnipotent,
Let me ready for receive your word.
illustrious,
I like that one. And it starts with the beginning of my name too. It's an E.
voluptuous, empathetic,
Yes.
loving,
Definitely.
caring,
Yes.
intelligent.
Yes.
I have more, but you know what? The lovely. Queen. There's the last and best one.
Yes.
My dear,
Yes.
the Ghetto story herself.
Debut.
Elaine
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes. Thank you.
I need a clap button.
Hold on. No, come.
We need like a horn or something. Anything. You guys like that intro? It's pretty good, eh? I need to do some intros, no?
I tell
Did
you,
you like that, girl?
Do the beep beep.
Listen, going forward, when people introduce you, they can't just
Yes.
say, this is the Ghetto. You're like, no, that's not enough.
Not
I
enough.
need adjectives.
Yes.
Ask
yes,
for them.
Yes. Yes.
Sister
yes,
Queen,
Yes.
how are you today? Let's just talk about how you are today.
Today is a bittersweet day. Because
Okay.
today is 6 months since my queen went home to be with the ancestors.
Okay.
All right.
And then this morning in my drive to work, I had to pass the last place that I got to see her.
Okay.
And the emotions are a little
Of course.
weird.
Yeah.
That's my ride or die girl.
Yeah,
You know what I
man.
mean?
Yeah.
So
That's-
the emotions are a little weird today.
Mm.
Yeah.
And-
But it's good and weird. Yeah.
Regardless of what you have been feeling, which is honestly in that type of losses,
Yeah.
you can't really, there's no words for it because
Yes.
for everyone it's different,
Yes,
right?
it's true.
You still came.
Of course.
You still came to share yourself
That-
and share your story.
Yes.
And I want to thank you for doing that. And you trekked here too. This girl
Yeah.
came from the east.
Trust me, on the highways and byways, can I tell you? And I had one of my young soldiers. I known him since he was 3 years old.
Right.
Yeah, and he was driving me. I'm like, I need to get to Brampton because I tried to get an Uber, and the Uber thing wasn't happening. And I'm just like, I need to get there before 5 o'clock. And he's like, okay, I'll call you right back. And then, yeah.
He just made it happen.
Yeah, he made it happen.
And
He-
I got
He
them
texted the
lost
soldier.
too.
He usually does.
Yeah.
One thing about him, he's been a part of my life. Milestone events, everything. He has not missed a thing.
Big up
Yeah.
yourself.
Mr. Dwight Balleri, that's him.
Go on with it.
Listen, honestly,
Big up
we
yourself.
appreciate you.
AKA Proverbs.
Wow.
Yes.
Because the man wise.
Yes.
That's an adjective I can
Yeah,
use.
yeah.
I can start calling people
Proverbs.
Go on with
proverbs.
it.
Look him up. He's big things. He grew up in the hood and he's
Yeah.
a teacher.
Yes.
And yeah. And he is that person.
We respect you and honor you, Proverb.
Yeah, man.
Good for you. Thank you for bringing Queen in. We appreciate it.
Yes.
So now that you are here,
Yes.
what I want you to do today actually is our very first day on. So we are on a few platforms. We're on Facebook Live, of course.
Wow, wow,
We
wow.
are on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Ala huno tube.
Can't left out one, you know.
Yeah, no. Ala uno.
Yes.
Can you spell it?
Yes. You
Not.
can't left out one.
Uno. Yes.
And today we're on Periscope.
Periscope.
Yes. I checked that out. I was like, what? Yes.
So
Yes.
now you are, this is going to, I want to give you a platform right now because I know you already do your show too.
Yes.
I want you to talk about everything today.
Oh.
I was doing some work. We did some research on you, and my foolish self left all my paperwork at home. But I
Wow.
have some stuff in my head, though.
Okay.
I know you've won a ton of awards. You've been doing this. You are considered an elder to me because I know I can learn from you. You've been doing this in the
Yes.
community for a
Yes.
long time, 30-something years now.
Yes.
So I want you to let people know, because again, people always talk about, because now people are starting to see you more,
Yes.
see your accolades more, but people don't understand there is no overnight success.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Your overnight success took 30-something years.
30-something years, can
Yeah.
I tell you? Yes.
So I want you to go through it all today. We're going to use this time
Yes.
dedicated completely to you. Share what you want.
Yes.
Share what you don't want.
Yes.
Curse who you want. We'll catch jokes.
All right, you done it. Yeah, and that's what has kept me. 90% of my journey has been the knowledge to laugh at myself. And yeah, I've always wanted to be a comedian. Whoopi Goldberg names Elaine before she changed it to Whoopi. So I always watch everything that she does, and I try to invoke myself in there somehow
Right.
and get the humor out. Because I find when you can get people to laugh, you get a lot out of them.
It's very
You get
true.
a lot of them.
True.
Yeah, you get them to laugh, they relax, and anything you want, the house, you want the car, you want the money, anything that they have, you just let them laugh enough and
So
be
you're
comfortable
saying
enough.
Us
and
women
they-
have been doing it the wrong way the whole time,
we,
eh?
we do it wrong way. The wrong way.
Uh-oh,
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
hear that, man? So any,
Yeah,
any woman who busts a joke from here and then, man, just watch the thing, isn't it?
Yes. It's all about the humor. You have to find whatever the situation is, you have to find the humor in it.
Okay.
Yes.
Even in the ones that are like devastating sometimes.
Even the one that are devastating. Every morning, my work now, they think I'm strange. Well, they love me, besides my madness. So I'm in love with Beres Hammond.
Okay.
I've been in love with Beres Hammond. I call myself Mrs. Hammond. Beres just doesn't know this, right?
He knows now.
just
He's watching
doesn't-
Periscope.
So, Beres, if you're watching, I will marry you and have a ton of babies. Wow. Yes, that's how much. So every morning I arrive with Beres playing.
Okay.
I have two favorite songs from Beres, What One Dance Can Do,
Yes.
and the Do Not Disturb sign,
Oh,
because
boy.
Beres, they're not going to disturb us. So I walk in with that every morning, because that's my moment. Anything that's happening in my life, it's music.
Yes.
It's calming, it's peaceful, it brings me into another spirit. And
Right.
when I hear Beres' voice, I'm just calm. I'm just calm. I visualize, us, Beres.
The wedding.
And
wedding.
everything. Yeah,
The
even
the
listen,
honeymoon,
you can
yes.
check on Facebook. I put happy birthday to my husband, and I put my picture beside his picture,
Right.
and I put it up. That's how much I have it. I
You
got
know,
it bad. So I
I
do
love
this.
it.
That's like the
Yes.
whole speaking to
Yes.
into existence.
Yes,
part, right?
yes.
Yeah,
Do I
man.
get
That's
that
her
right?
vision board.
That's her vision board, right?
Yeah, true,
Gone with it.
true. And I'm a vision board nut. I have quite a few for each area of my life. I have a
Awesome.
vision board, and I
Awesome.
really believe in that. Yesterday, I found something that I wrote 2016, and one thing on that thing came true, and I broke into tears when I saw it. I was like, yeah, a 4-bedroom home
Yeah.
for me and my children, and
Wow.
only piece that was missing was my queen, because I wanted her to rest out her years
Mhm.
in my arms. So that the only piece that didn't.
That
Everything else is
Everything else came.
Everything took place on the weekend. I got to be in my home on the weekend for the
Yeah.
first time in many years,
Wow.
Wow.
juggling to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing.
That's
Congrats to you.
yeah,
incredible.
yeah. So that
And
one did it.
You know what it is? You know why I like hearing these stories? Because people sometimes they falter in their belief.
Yes.
You have to have that faith.
Yes.
That even when things are like, when you're looking at your bill and you're like, I have no idea how I'm going to pay this, much less eat, much less get to work, much less, and still be trying to live that dream.
Very
Start
much
from the
so.
beginning. Start
Trust
from.
me.
We have some time. Start from the beginning, please.
So I came out of my mother's body part, dancing. She would tell you, if there was something wrong with the radio, I was like, what's wrong? I always needed to hear music.
All right.
I was born into music, and music has never left me. That's always where I found my comfort zone. So let's take it to when I migrated without a visa to Canada. Canada. I arrived in Canada in 1975. I came to two beautiful people that one was my mom and one was my dad. My dad was the person I came on the aircrafter, that's an airplane, with. And yes, my mommy,
the big one.
the big one, the really big one. You know what I mean? And I remember sitting on the. I remember leading up to me coming to Canada, and we grew in country. So in country, they would tell you, you're gonna leave. So really, you're not supposed to tell anybody.
Right.
It's supposed to be a secret. But there's people that, you grew. So you have to go say bye to ma so-and-so.
Right.
And bye to ma so-and-so. And bye to so-and-so. And I remember going around and saying bye. And then my father came, and he came like a thief in the night. It's like, we'll leave, I go foreign tomorrow. That's it. So everything pack, and gather up everything. We're at the airport on a plane. And I remember them asking me questions. I didn't know what to answer. But no talk. Just tap your nice. Me do all the talking for you. Every time it was an Oliver moment. Not a smile.
No.
Not a smile. I knew nothing. It was yeah.
Okay, stop.
Yeah.
Wait, we have to stop. We're gonna stop in the cold because I don't want to run out of time.
Yes.
I remember I said I want to make sure people are hearing this story.
Yes.
I'm not in smile though.
Wow. Not on smile
So
moment.
this is the type of show that we're having today.
It's
I hope-
a not on smile moment. Yes.
Yes. I
We'll
agree.
be right back, everybody. Join us. I can't.
It's the truth.
Think you have what it takes to bring value to the community? The TCNTV Network is expanding and now accepting TV show proposals. Here's an opportunity to build celebrity status and become part of an elite group of community advocates that are focused on building, strengthening, and empowering our community in a positive way. Are you interested in embarking on a new adventure? TCNTV is searching for people interested in opportunities to change the conversation and pave an unforgettable legacy. If you feel you have something of value to offer, send a written show proposal to shows@mytcntv.com.
So, welcome back, everybody. First of all, I'm so happy that we have the Queen in today. She's already giving us jokes. The whole time, I think when I first came in, if no one was watching, when we first started, I was dying because she had us dying of laughter. All of us in here. There's a lot of us in here today.
So,
All of us were dying, but we just left off because I want to hear your story.
So let's take it. I'm gonna just dive into the pieces that will be relevant, right? Coming to Canada, mom and dad, didn't know these two people. I couldn't function in that household. So I've been in the CAS from 13. So 13, I've been doing road since I came here. So by 11, 12, I knew the entire subway system. Warden subway was the end of the line. I could take you from here to there. So I was a kid that would always get beaten because they wouldn't take me nowhere. And I wanted to see Canada. Why you bring me come foreign if I'm not going to see this place?
Yeah.
So I was all over the place looking everything. So, doing road, enjoying life. But my father was that man he loved to beat, and I couldn't take the beating. And my mom was that beautiful soul where, Lord, stop beating the pity them of Canada with they. And he needed to understand where he was. And I was just tired of it. So it was either him kill me or me kill him. So the decision was made that Children's Aid would, step in, take me out of the home for a little bit. I went back and forth between them for a while. So that happened. Nothing exciting happened there except we get back going back and forth. But at 15, I found myself pregnant. And you know what it is. You're pregnant, Caribbean family. You're embarrassing the family.
Yes.
They don't really want me around. They didn't. My father was totally embarrassed. My mom understood it, but my father couldn't deal with it. So we were sent, me and my cousin at the same time, by the way. We were just months apart. And we were sent to live at a home. Now they call it the Massey Center.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was home for unwed mothers. I stayed there until I had my baby. My baby was born on my 16th birthday.
Wow.
So we share a birthday. She'll be 37 years old in a month and change. We share a birthday. So after that, mommy decided to leave him, and we got housing. So I end up in the place that made me the woman I am today, Cataraqui.
Okay.
Yes, so I end up in Cataraqui. Before that, it was Regent Park. I was, like I said, I was all over the streets, but that was Cataraqui was our home.
Yeah.
So at 17 and a half years old, I came into Cataraqui. First night in Cataraqui, I went to a party. At Sunshine was playing.
Oh,
That's
wow,
when Sunshine used to play a
Yes.
basement dance.
That's right.
And I got to know the community, but I still couldn't take East End because I came from West, everything West Side. So I came from the West Side.
Right.
But coming to the East, it was a little weird.
Yeah.
So for about a year, I still went to school in the West. Then I decided to go to school in the East. And it was weird. Everything was weird. I didn't fit in. I could not fit in. I'm damaged goods now. I'm a mother. All the good-looking man, them don't want me because I have a baby. Where's your baby father? I really don't know. Actually, he's somewhere. But yeah, there was the conversation. So for a while, I was just like, oh my goodness, this wasn't a good space for me. I didn't know what to do. Then I met this beautiful lady, Leslie Beecham. And Leslie Beecham says, it seems like you have a very commanding presence. What does that really mean?
Love it.
You can bring people together. So there's a program for you. It's called Peers Helping Peers. Okay. Sure. And that's where my community service world began. So she would take every time there was an organization, something happening, she had me like a little puppet. Come, Elaine, you need to meet these people. Come, Elaine, you need to meet these people. And why am I meeting these people?
Right.
And I understood what peers helping peers meant. So I see you have leadership qualities. And she would list out all these things. I'm saying that's really nice. In the Christmas time, we would go around to the communities and give out Christmas baskets and all those things. I'm like, I kind of like this. I kind of like this. And I felt a healing spirit while doing it. And I know that sitting here at this age and stage saying that, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
I felt healing there. There was good people in those spaces.
Right.
They genuinely liked me. I didn't have to force myself to be anything other than. You know what I mean? So that's where my community service world began. And I love to dance. So in between that and my dancing and living in Cat, we had a community center. Community center had nobody in there that looked like me. So I went to the man, I said, nobody in here looked like me. Can I get a job here? He said, so what can you do? I said, with my bold, bright self, I can dance. That's what I said.
That's
He
what
said,
you
what? I can dance.
That's
Right?
what I can do.
That's what I can do. You ask me what I can do, I can dance.
Right.
So I had a group of young, my house was 2 houses down from the community center. So what I would do, I would teach anybody want to dance, come, we're gonna dance. And I could coordinate the dances, and all I do was watch. Before we had YouTube, and we had the television and those things.
Right.
I would dance, and I would go to every dance, and I'm having dance battles with people. And when I have battle, I come downstairs, I'm like, yo, I gotta show you guys these moves. So I said, oh, I'm gonna take this to the center. And they liked it, and they liked me. So in between the dancing, they found something to do with me.
Good.
So the man said, you have a very nice personality. So they had a front desk. So you know where I was, right?
Right at the front.
Front desk. I said, oh, this is nice. What you mean? I'm the first person they see, so I'm greeting these people.
Right.
But I love my dance group. So now I'm learning community. So they're liking me. So he says, oh, and them times, back in those days we were on social assistance. Back in those days we used to call it mother's allowance. So they said they give me a position for a year, I don't have to be an assistant for a year, and I'll get a salary. What? Mommy loved that. Mommy and I talked about it. She knows, you love the picnic them, man, and you and them on the dancing thing, man. I say, yes, center. They welcomed me. So now I'm getting a group. I started with 10. I now have 25 people. I can't have 25 people in my basement. So I introduced myself. I said, oh, and I need a name for my group. Ragamuffin. So we behave. Because them always I say, yeah, lad, you're ragamuffin-y. Yes. So I called my group Young Ragamuffins. But the name, just like this name, did different things. These youths didn't know themselves. So I learned black history. I taught them black history. A lot of them didn't know culturally who they were. So my icon, Miss Louise Bennett, I introduced her in there. All the reggae dances. I know wind up yourself type of thing. Just good reggae moves. Then I taught them soca, calypso. We had the African dancing. My teacher was Donna Makeda at the time. So I brought in all of this and I started to create programs. They were loving it. The kids loved it. And then every time they had a moment that we had to get to perform, it was Elaine and the Ragamuffins. Yes. So we started going all over different parts of the city. We were the first group to open for Logie for Jamaica Day.
All right.
That's to show you foundation. And I would take them, back in those days we used to have Martin's Day.
Yes.
So I would take them downtown to, then it was Harborfront. And we had it there, Martin's Day, and I would take them all hours of the night, and people would not bother me. They say, "Oh, yeah, go with Ilian, man. That's fine. Ilian, the community leader, that's fine." So you would see me and about 25, 30 of them, whoever wanted to come.
Right.
That's what we did, and I brought them there.
Now, during those excursions, no other parents accompanied you at that point in time? Was it just you?
Just
yourself?
Just me.
Okay.
Parents weren't involved.
Right.
I was more like a babysitting service.
Okay.
Drop the picnic them off.
Right.
Yeah. Still do it now. But yeah. Drop the picnic them off and they came. Yeah. They liked what I was doing. It was good to a certain extent.
Right.
They liked the limelight. Like when we had to perform, you would see the place full with people.
Of course.
Lord, I might picnic that up there, so you know.
That's right.
Yes. And they were about that. But the other pieces, no, they were
No.
never about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, certain parents came on board afterwards, but they were never really about me and that. They liked the dance piece, but the
Yes.
other pieces they didn't like.
Now, did that kind of like, it's interesting that you say that because, of course, I know you know our history, so I can talk to you about this. Did you find it interesting that they were only focused on the oogity boogity part, which is what we're always known for?
Yes.
Instead of the part that we need to know, our spirituality.
Yes.
About our ancestors, about the fact that our life didn't begin at slavery.
They didn't understand that. When I started talking black history to them, it was like, oh my God, really? We started talking about Marcus Garvey, because I'm a Garveyite.
Yes.
And I talk a lot about Marcus Garvey. And a lot of these kids were like, oh my God, really? Malcolm X, they didn't even know.
Right.
And I started getting involved with, oh God, I drove them crazy with that. But I got in their head.
Yes.
I got in their head. I introduced them to black paintings. I introduced them to black figurines. Wearing certain people on our T-shirt. Then it was Malcolm X was the big man at the time,
That's right.
right? And
Remember that.
I had the pleasure of meeting his wife,
Okay. Beautiful.
and I
Okay,
had the
stop.
pleasure
No,
of meeting
no.
Alex Haley.
Yes.
No, wait,
Yes. Yes, yes.
because
Yeah.
I've seen you with Mrs. Jean Augustine, another.
That's my queen.
Yeah.
My queen, and she walks around with me telling people how much she loves me. She holds me. I know her. I watch her grow. She did. Because she was
Yeah.
the woman at the time when I got my second job.
Okay, wait, stop there.
So the first job was
Second
them.
job.
So we're on to second job now. Second real job.
Yeah.
So there's jobs, but the second real job
job.
that I actually got paid to do. Because 90% of the stuff I did at the center, there was no money involved. It was all learning.
It's learning.
Right.
No money involved. So, and then at the center now, it was interjecting everything I know. So I brought in the Dudley Laws, because there was a youth in our community that got shot.
Yes.
So I brought the Dudley Laws to come in and we did the march. So we marched from Cataraqui right up to Brimley and Finch. Right? The youths got exposed to that. A queen of mine who was
I have
shot.
to stop you.
Yeah,
Stop. You
yeah.
gotta stop, sister
Yeah.
girl. See, no, we'll be back. Just
2 seconds.
We'll be back, guys. Just
Yeah.
come back. Come.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
This holiday season, be sure to pick up your copy of the Toronto Caribbean newspaper and check out all the specials from local businesses right here in our community. Help build a bigger, better, and stronger community with your support. Happy holidays from the Toronto Caribbean newspaper. Available at your favorite Caribbean location or online at torontocaribbean.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I had to warn Queen at the beginning. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to cut you off sometimes because I don't want anyone to miss even of
Like
your
a piece of
story.
it. Yes.
Okay, it's like I'm sitting here like just like in shock and awe.
That's what these type of interactions are made for, especially,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Like when we bring guests in, right, we want to hear their experiences, want to hear their life stories, want to hear their journeys,
We want
because it's
people
not
to
only just
hear
for
it.
us, but of
Yes.
course it's for everybody who's tuning in, right? And I can't wait for you to continue.
Yeah,
Yes.
please.
So, I got to New York, got to meet Betty Shabazz. And I have the program. And she signed the program. First, she asked me, where am I from? So I said, Canada. She says, no, I hear an accent. Where you from? I said, well, the lovely Jamaica. And we had a good conversation. And then right next to her was Alex Haley.
Oh.
I'm telling you, I was in like, Alex Haley.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Alex
Yeah.
Haley. I'm
Oh,
like,
boy.
yeah, I'm like, sign my book, sign my book, sign my book.
Wow.
So I got his signature.
Oh, beautiful.
I have the program still.
Yeah.
I have that in my scrapbook. I have that. Then I went on 42nd Street. I met Barry White.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed for Diana Ross's concert in Central Park.
Oh.
Wherein back then, this is show you how old I am. This is going to give it away. Not the fact that I was in class with Jesus, but the fact that, you remember back in the day, they used to have City TV shirts.
Yes.
Right. I
Yes.
had
You
mine.
had a City
I
TV
had,
Yes.
shirt?
and anytime I went, especially across the border, I would
you
made
always
sure you
wear
wore
the
it?
Yes,
Yup.
because it was a,
It was easy.
That was
Excuse
our
me.
thing.
You can't- you
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
get
Toronto.
you. You
Yeah,
can't get
Toronto.
you.
That
Are
was,
weed?
before we were 416 and all these
And all
things.
the thing else.
That's
Yeah.
what we had.
Yes.
So I had to make sure wherever I read, I represented.
T that all the
Sure.
way.
All
Just
the way.
I have to just
T-dot.
drop that. Yeah. Sorry.
All the way.
Wow.
All the way. So now I'm on to the second chapter of the work and the learning. So me and my youths, every time we had an occasion to open up somewhere, to showcase my group, that's what I did. Right? And they were in love with me and the group. So I'm at this function, and this man said to me, all those kids came with you? I'm like, yes. I'm like, is there a reason? He goes, wow. Okay. I think I have a job for you. I'm like, yes. What? A job? Yes. So he told me to come to, then we used to call it Metro Housing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come to Metro Housing, 1325 Yonge Street.
Mm-hmm.
I walked in, and he says, well, we have this project, and we want you to do it. I said, what is this project? He says, well, you're going to be an outreach worker. That's before outreach workers became the thing.
Yeah.
And you're going to go to all these different communities and get some programs going. And get us in there, because they don't know us. Get us in there. So I was in Jungle. That's one of the first places,
Yeah.
a.k.a.
Big up.
Lawrence Heights.
Big up Jungle, yeah?
Big up Jungle.
Lawrence and Allen for the Stush people.
Yeah.
Lawrence
yeah.
and Allen Road.
Yes. So there and all over different parts of Scarborough. And I stayed there for about, a couple years, juggling back and forth. So wherever they had a program that they needed somebody like myself to do, because folks wouldn't go inside. They were afraid of the community. They wouldn't go in certain parts of the community. Even people that look like us.
Yeah.
Of course.
They were good with here, but then we're not good with going into the community.
Right.
They would send you program, we got you, but they would not come in and partake.
Right. Now,
So,
when you start going into these our communities, because they are our homes.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
What was the reaction at that point in time from the members of the community? How was the reception?
The reception was 99.9% good, because they were like, somebody that looks like us.
Right.
And I was creative in what I did, so they liked that.
Good.
Right, and I spoke the language, so I didn't come in. I wasn't standoffish.
Right.
You know, I could flip the patois to whatever they needed, so they were okay with that. So I was relatable, and I noticed our people like things relatable.
That's true.
Yeah,
Very
so they
true.
could relate very well to me, and I was. A lot of them were people I grew up with. So they were from the ball community, from the track community.
Right.
You know, we used to from the dance community. Yes, can't miss that one there.
Yes.
We were from those different places, so they embraced me. You know, they are the community girl. That's my name. So they were always about that, and they would welcome me. So I was very welcome in those spaces, and I enjoyed it because it gave me an opportunity to travel. Because I would go police needed to have conversation with us. We were in some places where they never see black people before. So I was fortunate. I was part of a group at Toronto Housing. Then they were called I'll tell you in 2 seconds. Oh my God. Race Relations something.
Okay.
Name has changed since then, but we were the Race Relations Department. So I worked in 2 departments. Eric Morgan, if you're out there, you know, AKA Bamsi, if you're out there too.
Big up yourself.
Yeah, it was us. And we were the Recreation Department with a man by the name of Rick Gosling. It was us. So 2 departments, and that's what we did. And we juggled the 2 of them. I was the Race Relations. They were more the Recreation. But this is what we did as a community.
I'm hearing this, and I just feel like
Eh?
you see me sitting here just
Yeah,
smiling. You know
yeah,
what
yeah.
it is?
Yeah.
Because, again, it allows me to sit down here because, okay, another thing, too. There's a lot of us younger ones coming up because I would say right now I am definitely following in your footsteps in a lot of ways.
I see that because I follow you too. Remember, I reached out. I'm just like, I like her. And I sent you a couple. Remember, I sent her a couple. I'm the stalker. That's my girl crush. I'm sending her. I'm like, what? I like. Oh my God, I like it. You see what I'm? Can I meet? Can we? Yeah, I've been doing this for like about 2 years
It's
now.
about 2 years. And it's funny,
Right.
we finally bucked at the hurricane relief. You know what it is? It's because I need to see someone who's come before me, who's not too far ahead of me, but someone who's come before me who has gone through a lot of the things that I have gone through and has able to make such a difference in the community. When people see you, like, people just know you. Like, I didn't realize you knew Grant. It's like, yeah, man. Grant, yeah, all right, big up yourself. Let's go do our interview. How do you even know? You know, like, it's something, and I think for our younger women, because, again, anything that you pass through me, I have to pass to them because, you know, I think my age is where a lot of the sensibleness stopped. And I only say that because you're right. Television came in and completely took over after us.
Yes.
And they are suffering silently. They don't even realize they're suffering.
Yes.
So, like, I guess maybe tell some of, I guess the parents sometimes, because parents don't realize it, how important is it to let your children have access to things, programs that you put on? Like, how important is that? Because a lot of parents sometimes want to keep their children. You know, you can't, especially some of the religious parents.
Yes.
That's a problem.
I think the piece that was difficult at times, and it is difficult because in some of those communities, a lot of women, right? And no disrespect to the man them, but a lot of them were missing. And the young women were juggling. Mothers were juggling. So programs. My children grew in programs from morning till night. So when they were in, I was juggling. I was teaching. They were, I had to find programs. Right? And that's helped to raise 90% of them. Right? So a lot of them turned out to be wonderful citizens at this time. But in that journey, it wasn't so easy.
No, I can
It
imagine.
was not. It was not easy
I can
because you know
imagine.
daycare cut off at a certain time.
Right.
You want to go do certain things. You need somewhere too. And when they brought when I created programs that opened their minds. So it wasn't just a program. It was more like I'm coming here to learn something.
Yes.
And you're leaving with this. A lot of the young people that I've been exposed to, and each one of them, I am so grateful for them because they allowed me to give them what I had
Yeah.
authentically. I have ones that are teachers, doctors, artists, singers, all over the world, authors, writing books, taking on world stages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
Yeah.
incredible to
that's
watch.
that's what I have been exposed to.
Right.
And they allowed me to give them me. And at that time, I was raw as hell. Like raw. Like I mean raw. But I read. I read a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
Very
When it
important.
wasn't cool to go library, I'm like, yo, out. in a corner,
Yeah.
learning, reading.
Right.
Reading to get the information.
Mm-hmm.
Because I needed to get that. I needed to get that. People, oh, you know that? Don't worry about that. I go and I do my, hide and do my research.
Due
and then
diligence, man.
I go after people who, I want to sit with you for a while. Can I hang out with you? Mr. Dudley Laws was my favorite guy to talk to because he's that head.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mr. Brown, the man who started Tropicana.
Mm-hmm.
Like me and Mr. Brown would talk about everything. I'd be like, this is what I want. Tropicana was 2 rooms before the Tropicana that it is now. And in between that, I juggled a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I juggled in both worlds. I did the hair for a living. So in my basement, I was doing hair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I tell them I want to go be a hairdresser. So they gave me a scholarship to go do hair. Like I was out there.
The
Yeah.
hustle.
The hustle. I
The
was hustling.
hustle.
I was in my basement doing hair Monday to Friday. Like they're Monday to Friday, sometimes Saturday to Sunday, depends. I was in my basement and I taught the young women how to do hair. I'm like, if you want to survive, if you want to eat a food, you need to do this. All right?
All
You
right.
need to do this.
We need to stop you here.
Yeah.
When we come back, we're gonna finish off because I want you to explain getting higher to teach others.
Oh, the Ghetto story.
We have to hear this. We'll be right
yes.
back,
That's
everybody.
it. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. I've had, you know what? For me, I'm just, again, I know I've picked up someone who I can like,
We're
yes.
vibing.
Oh, girl. We have you for a little bit more. And let me just change that. I'm only saying girl because we sisters and things, but queen, let me give you your respects though. Tell everyone about Ghetto, because what I like about it is the fact that like it's just, guy, I'm ghetto.
Yeah. Every day, all
I am
day.
ghetto as
I
hell.
I am.
Tell them,
So-
for those who don't know what ghetto is. let them know.
Ghetto means getting higher education to teach others. That foundation came from always being referred to as that ghetto gal. Like, and anybody knows when you grow up in certain places, like you're just that. And that's
Yeah.
what they call it, ghetto.
ghetto, yeah.
You know, I've
Yeah.
nothing. You don't even get time to say, "Oh my God, like really? I'm not." That's what it is.
Ghetto, that's
Right?
Automatically.
Automatically. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And add to it if you grew up in some of those quote unquote ghetto communities.
Of course.
That
Yeah.
just adds to it. So 1992, we took a group of young people of 47 from all parts of the GTA to Atlanta. And we did then what we call the Pan-African American Tour, where we went to Dr. Martin Luther King's home.
Yes.
We went to Tuskegee, Alabama. We did all of that. Went to Dexter Avenue Baptist Church, Ebenezer Baptist, everything Martin Luther King. right? And it was beautiful. But while we were there, we got to connect with some community members. And there was a lady there that mentioned the word ghetto. And she mentioned this acronym. And I was like, say that again. I left there and I was just like, what? And I went back a second time with a second group. That couldn't get it out of my head. And I realized throughout my journey, I was always that person. But in that process, the acronym, getting higher education to teach others, I had to fulfill that.
Absolutely. Yes.
Right? And so when I say getting higher education to teach others, education piece always jumps out for people. Education is not an institution. It's not a college. It's not a university.
No.
It's education of self.
That's right.
So throughout my journey, I was always in these places and spaces where I didn't have all the letters behind my name, but I knew the work.
Right.
I remember one introduction was, this is Elaine and she's really good with the youths. And they mentioned the other person's name and says, but she has a degree in criminology. And I remember that thing burned me.
I hear you.
Yo,
I hear you.
It burned out my belly bottom, real talks. And what I did was I quit the job.
Right.
I quit. Because I said, if I'm just good with the youths, she can't do nothing without me.
Yeah.
She has that.
She needs you.
She cannot do nothing
Yep.
without me.
Right.
She couldn't even go into the communities without me.
But she had a degree.
Yeah, she had a degree. So I told the boss, I said, you know what, thanks, but no thanks, I'm out. I think everybody thought I was crazy because at that time, it was good money. It was good money, right? So I walked away from it. And I said to myself, I'm going to get some education. But before the education, I fell in love. I got married, had a couple children, and then started working again. And that scenario happened again. So what did I do? At 34 years old, 35, I had the middle one. And I said, I need to get some education. So I got a high school education. I went in. I think I'd probably completed some grade 9, little grade 10. So that's where the education came in. And I remember saying, I got to do this. I got to do this.
And
I
how
got to
old
do
were
this.
you?
35.
I want to make sure that people
35.
heard that.
35.
You got your high
35.
school.
A high school education.
All right.
And I didn't go there. I went there in a different space. So while at SCAS, Scarborough Center for Alternative Studies, I was the warrior on campus. I became the principal's best friend. I used to bad up the people. Why don't you line up in the hall? We didn't get it right. Why you lining in the hallway? This ain't that type of vibe. And I met another woman. And I started writing because I love to write. And she looked at my work and she was impressed with my work. And she really started pushing me to write. I left there with an award that says Academic Excellence. I formed a human circle around Queen's Park. I got to go in the house to speak to people about adult education and what that means. I went to every adult school from Scarborough to Brampton speaking about adult education and why it's important to get that. Because people saw me differently with that piece of paper. Right? Not disrespecting anything else, but they saw me differently with that piece of paper. Right? So after the fourth one was born, the fourth one I now have, since 1998, I now have number 4. And I said, this is it. No more babies. I really need to get working again. So I started going back in the community, doing programs. Got hired back into my old, I didn't do an interview. They just says, Elaine, we have something. We know you can do this. Come on
join
in.
us. Yeah.
Right? And that's how, honestly, that's how I got 90% of my jobs. Because they're like, we know you know what to do. These folks don't know what to do. Come on in. So I went over in Malvern. And I was over in the Vern for a while, juggling, because I did both of them. And one of my good brethren, Donovan Samuels, anyway you're there, big up yourself. Donovan says to me, so you're going to do frontline work forever? You need a piece of paper. They're not going to respect you. I say, idiot things that. Right? But he was right. So, at 40, I went into George Brown College with all my, everything that I knew how to do. And they looked at me and said, oh my goodness, you do all of this? You did this? And I showed them everything and said, second year is where we're going to put you. So I went straight into second year. Straight in. Where I got Miss Jean Augustine scholarship.
Yeah.
I will never forget the evening when she said, Elaine? And then, because she didn't recognize one of my last names, she didn't recognize Lloyd. That's my birth name. Married is the man I fell in love with. Me never came back in him. So I kept it. Right? So when she called, she said, Elaine? I said, it's me! Elaine Robinson! Oh my God! Yes. And that's how she made me feel. Because I wrote my life into that piece, that whole, when they ask you to write about what? I said, I have 4 children. Okay, and at 36 years old, I have 4 children. I just got a high school, didn't have a college education. I'm the first in my bunch after my brother to be in college.
Right.
People look at me like, that's all you come to do? You come to Canada for, I remember a conversation with a friend and a family member. Where you come to Canada for do? Have baby every year and live off the government? I'm like, whoa. Just like that. Yeah. So that put a pause.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Look at.
Yeah.
We okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please.
So that made me want to, So when Ghetto Stories came about, was everything that my life meant. The higher education was getting myself together. You know what I mean? And I noticed people were ghetto. So they were looking for a world star hip hop moment. And they didn't get that. Because that's not what it's about.
That's right.
To teach others I want the community to understand that word. I want to redefine how we look at each other, how we look at people when we hear those words. Because they say ghetto, Regent Park, like Jane and Finch.
Right.
And them start listing out. That's not what it's about.
Right.
Okay, it's authentic stories. There are people who come from those places and spaces. My co-host Giselle grew up in jungle. She went to Ryerson. She's got a degree in technology. She knows everything about. She worked at Much Music Studios. And when I interviewed her, I said, "My girl, I gotta have you." So she's now my co-host for the show. And I said, I've always wanted a platform to share the stories.
Right.
Because I figure when you hear it from me, I've been there. I've walked through the walk. That's what ghetto means for me. So I want to share the authentic stories with people in the community. Let them understand what it is, what the story is. You can't be, if you don't own that story, but I noticed that we don't want to own the stories. We like the fluffy stories.
Yeah.
If it's
The
fluffy
fantasy,
and
It
it looks
sounds
good,
nice.
we like it.
Yeah.
But when it's real, we're
Grimy.
afraid of it. You understand? We don't want to hear certain things because it means that, me have got to tell people what me used to do. You understand? In the 90s, I remember 90s was the juggling session.
Yes, right.
And I hustled.
Yeah.
Me feel the juggling too, me don't want to make money to you. What you mean? Right? I got to do it. But then I saw a lot of my friends lose a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't think this is for me. I remember the last run that I went on. And the guy didn't even come and collect him things and he didn't even pay me. I was like, that's okay. I think this is it for me. And that was the education was what works and what doesn't work.
Okay.
Right?
Sister
Yes.
Queen, we have to go and I don't want to. But our conversation is never done. We
Absolutely.
have just started.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. I want to thank
Yes.
you, Queen, for coming in
Oh,
and only
I'm-
sharing like a
yes.
quarter of your story because there's so
Yes.
much more. But you know
Yes.
where you can find her? Find her on?
You can find me, Elaine Robinson. That's my Facebook. You can find Ghetto Stories also on Facebook. You can find me at Frequency 5 FM, 6:30 to 7:30 every Friday. You can find me at Twitter, Miss Marvelous. You can find me on LinkedIn, Elaine Robinson. Right? And that's it. And you hear the stories. Connect with me so you can get to hear the authentic stories, especially my guest coming on this Friday. Listen out. He's a youth that grew up in Jane and Finch. My last week was also a young man that grew up in Jane and Finch. So stay tuned, stay blessed, release the stress.
Thanks,
Peace
guys.
and love, family.
Peace and love.